Video because you're enrolled in one of my courses at HU and you would like to know how to do better. This applies to everything I teach because my assignments all have the same goals and objectives and very much the same formats, which is what we're going to be going over in this video. Okay, I'm doing this because I'm going to tell you why I'm doing this and then go through how to do the kinds of assignments you're going to be facing in my courses. I am doing this because you're probably going to find, and you're going to hear if you talk to anybody else who's had my courses, that this is going to be a different experience for you than much of what you've had at HU and quite likely in your high school career, community college before this. So, my focus is on developing your skills in analysis and communications, because surveys show consistently that major employers, including the big tech employers like Google and Facebook, rank communications and analytical skills much more highly in their employees than they do simple technical knowledge. Because technical knowledge isn't going to do you a bit of good if you can't communicate and explain what it is you know. So, while my courses may be stupid required content in Gen Ed that you don't want to take, I get that. But I am concerned about you developing skills that are going to apply to every single job you could possibly have. And whether you pick up content or not, I'm not going to say it's not as important because it's obviously important, but the skills come first. So, let's talk about how to do a news post. There's a news post assignment every week in all my courses. And it's only worth about 10% of your grade total, but it's free points pretty much if you just follow the template. So this is a good chance to spend 10, 15 minutes a week on something and boost your grade by a full letter. So I do this because I want you to get those points and because I want to see that you can apply course content to the real world in real time. So here's how to maximize your score on a news post. Follow the directions. They're there in every assignment and the rubric is in every assignment, okay? Big one, make sure the article fits the actual assignment for the course. So one of the big flaws I see is I get a news article about, turnips in Bolivia, which unfortunately I don't teach Bolivian turnip farming. So that's not going to do well. So it has to be on point for the course. And the biggest thing is item 5, the so what. This is why the assignment really exists. I need to see you thinking about why the news article matters. Who cares about a strike at General Motors, or who cares about the extension of unemployment benefits during the COVID crisis? I need you to be able to figure that out and show me that you're thinking about why this stuff matters. Why is it news? So that's the big one. Okay, what goes wrong in news posts? Either something that's completely off topic, and I get a fair bunch of those. Usually at first, they fizzle away as people get the idea, but if the class is tech ethics, it needs to be about tech, it needs to be about ethics, and it needs to be news. If the class is civic mind, it needs to be about American government or macroeconomics. Not just something that happened in America. Not just something about new tech. There's a new Mac OS release. That's not fitting what the course is about. So don't do that. And the biggest one by far is analysis fail. I will get a so what that either includes some quote from the article, don't quote the article. So what is you showing me you understand why this matters. So putting a little bit of thought into that. And that's practice. That'll be a few weeks before you get that down. But remember, that's the big one. That's where the grade points come from. Okay. How to structure a short essay. You'll be writing lots of these. Most of my courses, you'll be writing one of these a week. So here's the things they need to have. This is 5-paragraph essay format from high school, if you had a good high school that taught you some writing. That's it. That's all I need. If you didn't, and a lot to most of you did not get pushed to mastery of the 5-paragraph essay format in high school or in your first year of writing courses, wherever you took them. So we're doing that now. So you need to have an introductory paragraph that's got to do some specific things that I'll get into in a minute. Main body paragraphs all have to follow a structure. If you're a fantastic, brilliant writer, okay, you can get by with bending the rules of structure. None of you are. So from y'all, I want to see mastery of the basics. and that's the meal plan. Each paragraph, each and every single paragraph has to have a main idea, evidence supporting it, your analysis of it, and a lead out, and nothing else. Nothing else. One idea per paragraph developed by main idea, evidence, analysis, and lead out. And your conclusion, a wrap up that gives me a so what. Why does this matter? What are the implications of what you're saying? Let's dig into the main paragraph. Okay, my essays all give you a prompt. They will all say, what is your take on something? And they generally allow you to apply multiple theories or multiple perspectives, which you can pick whatever one you want. And it never, ever, ever matters whether you say this is good or bad, this is this theory or that theory. Never matters. They're carefully structured that way. What I want to see you do, and I'll get into this in the exam answering bit, is I want to see you take a position and back it with evidence. So you've got to start off by taking a position. That's got to be clear. It's got to be in a direct sentence up front. And then provide a roadmap to what's going to come next in your essay. This is what a main paragraph does, is it provides readers with a map. Because without that map, they don't know where you're going, and they're just being tugged around randomly. And for you who are not A writers, who are getting C's and D's and F's, this is what your writing reads like. It's like, you're dragging me by the hand, and you're dragging me to this place and this place and this place, and I have no idea what you're trying to do. So in your introductory paragraph, you set up a map. You say, hey, McKnight, I'm going to take you to the grocery store and the post office and the bank. And then you go to the grocery store, the post office, and the bank, and nowhere else. That's what an introductory paragraph has got to do. Okay, here are examples from actual student exams. This is a B. It states a position. The Garstan system of government operates in a dictatorial manner. So the question was basically, there's a case study, and the question was, is this good or bad? How does it work? And so this student says, it operates in a dictatorial manner, and then there's the roadmap. Does not identify equality, does not give civilians control, and can turn towards a tyrannical system. So in their main body paragraphs, what comes next is they go to equality, then they go to control the agenda, and then they go to tyranny. That's their map. It's pretty minimal. It doesn't refer back to the readings or build out in any way, but it's a nice statement of purpose and a nice little map. That's a B. Here's an A on the same exam. A clear statement of whether the system is good or bad and why. Focus on political equality, knowledge and control. So right there in that sentence, those sentences, that's our map. The student's going to talk about political equality, knowledge, and control. They refer to the readings. They give 5 traits that are effective for democracy and say they're going to discuss those. That's an A. It refers back to the readings. It puts them into context of the scenario we're dealing with. It gives you a clear map to where they're going. One more. This is from Tech Ethics. The question was, there was a case study of a company, and the question was, what ethical theory do they seem to be following? And so this student says, it demonstrates a utilitarian view of ethics. Right off, answers the question, what theory are they following? Now it defines the theory. In this view on ethics, blah, blah, blah. And then it explains how they're going to, what the elements of the theory are that they're going to present in their analysis. Quantification, happiness points, a moral pathway, the greatest good. Bam, bam, bam. That's an A. And again, you guys, you've got to notice these are not perfect. These are not exhaustive, nailed down, completely thorough, masterful, professional level answers. But they're good enough for an A because they get the job done. And I teach generally Gen Ed and required courses where I'm not looking to turn you into professional writers or professional political scientists or professional ethicists. I want to see you leave my courses with a solid toolkit that you can reach into and use in real life situations. So the bar is not super high. Okay, let's talk about exams. Here's what my exams are for. Can you spot issues in a realistic scenario? Meaning I don't care about your textbook knowledge at all. At all. None. Zero. What I want to know is when you go out into the world, can you apply the stuff you learned in my classes? If that's civics, can you apply what you learned about American government to reading the news or arguing with your crazy uncle over Thanksgiving dinner? If it's in tech ethics, when you're in the workplace and somebody suggests a plan of action, that you can have a toolkit for analyzing whether that's ethically good or not. That's what I care about. Do you have a toolkit? Can you reach into your basket and pull out some means of analysis? If you're arguing with your crazy uncle about democracy, can you refer to Dahl's principles? Do you have a sense of why equality is important or not important? If it's in tech ethics, can you explain that when somebody's arguing from a deontological perspective, whether they care about people's rights or whether they're putting just a utilitarian calculation of greatest good for the greatest number first? Can you use that toolkit to generate logical, consistent, explainable outcomes? Can you say, hey, I think this political candidate is the best for office because of A, B, and C. Here's my tools. Can you say in a meeting, hey, this course of action is going to get us into ethical trouble because of these principles? And can you do this in real time, the way you would at work or arguing over Thanksgiving dinner? These are real life skills, and I want to see in your exams that you got them. That's exactly and entirely what my exams are for. Okay. One of the things that I see a lot of, less in the past couple of years because HU is getting much, much, much better at preparing students and recruiting students who are prepared, is I will ask you an 800 to 1,200 word essay question, I'll get 50 words. My first year teaching here in 2016, I got that a lot. I had students turn in essay exams where they wrote their answers under the prompt on the exam page. In like that little one-line skip line space? No. So I want to talk about what makes for an exam answer. So a bad and short essay shows me that you identified very few of the issues that are going on. You didn't have much to say about them. Said it's utilitarian, done. That doesn't show me that you know what utilitarian is, and it doesn't show me you know how to think. It shows me you grabbed a buzzword and hoped it was the right one. Bad and long, you weren't on point. You were going on blathering about something that had nothing to do with the essay. I see this a lot in Civic Mind, where people want to vent about something. And it's natural to want to vent about something. That's why we have discussion forums. You don't want to do that in an exam. Good and long, you have identified a lot of the issues there. And believe me, my essay prompts are designed to have a lot of stuff to talk about. If I say 800 to 1,200 word essay, I know I can write 4,000 words on that prompt that I've given you. I know that any one of you who's paying attention can give me 800 to 1,200 words. So good and long, you stayed on topic. Good and short is epic level. And that is, your writing is so incredibly super tight and brilliant that you can cover everything in 800 words instead of 12 or 1,500 words. Don't think you're at epic level. Please don't. Maybe one or two of you a year are. Maybe. Don't assume that. Go for good and long. Go for, hey, I need to say more stuff when you're writing your exam, because I guarantee you there's more stuff that can be said. Okay. Length tells me you've spotted a bunch of issues, and for each issue you've spotted, you've analyzed them. So what's a good exam? Did you identify the tool correctly? Are you applying Dahl's principles of democracy to analyzing whether a country is democratic or not? Did you apply deontology and other ethical theories appropriately to an ethics case? Did you pick the right tool? Did you get a meaningful outcome? Did you say something that matters and that goes to what the question asks? And please note, as always, the right answer is not an element here. I never give you a trick question. I'm never looking for one particular political outcome or another. My questions are all designed to be outcome neutral, where there's more than one good answer. I'm a lawyer. I know that there's always two sides to every story. For example, the final exam from Civic Mind in summer of 2020, one of the questions asks students to evaluate proposals for a guaranteed annual income, which is a very controversial political proposal that's put forward in the Democratic campaigns by Andrew Yang, and it's being talked about in a lot of circles. 60% of my class argued for it was a good idea and supported that with evidence. 40% of my class argued for it was a bad idea and supported it with evidence. A's went to both groups. That question was designed to be outcome neutral. I don't care. I want to know that you can take a position and argue it. Okay, so model answer identifies the problem. What is being asked in the question? Identifies the tool chosen. You can't just say, oh, this is deontology. You've got to define it and explain it to show me that you understand it and you're not just grabbing a word. Applies the tool. Okay, how is it deontology? Here are the elements of deontology. Here are the elements of the scenario. Here's how they match. Generates an outcome. The course of action this company is taken is unethical by the framework I've applied, and explains why that's relevant or what that's going to mean. They're going to find that their customers are going to rebel against being treated in this way, and it's going to be bad for business. Okay. So to summarize, I don't care what your opinions are. I never do. What I want to see is logical conclusions drawn from applying the tools you've chosen to the problems. There's no right answer. There's no wrong answer. Just have you created a good argument supported by evidence? And here's a introductory statement on both sides of a question. It's the same scenario. It is ethical. It is unethical. Both of these can be A answers. Okay, here's what goes wrong on exams. The biggest thing I see is not answering the question asked. And seriously, I swear to you, every exam, about a third of my students write on something that is completely not the question I asked. So I will ask you to evaluate proposals for guaranteed annual income, and I'll get an essay on how you like turnips. I am not kidding. I don't know how it happens. I don't know how it happens in week 13 of a course, but it happens. Just not answering the question. So please answer the question. Okay. A big one, failure to identify and define the tool being used. You don't refer back to the texts. You don't define the tools. You just name drop. Okay, this is undemocratic. It's unethical. It's, let's say, utilitarian. And you don't tell me what it means. You got to tell me what it means. Introductory paragraphs that suck. That is one of the very biggest ones, and that's one of the things I spend the most time working with students on, is just writing a good introductory paragraph that does a basic minimum job of stating what it is you're talking about and mapping out where you're going to go. It is hard, and it's going to take a long time, and a lot of you are going to fail the hell out of the first 3 or 4 exams or essays. I know this. That's okay. That's why there's a lot of them. It works out in the end. And a lot of off-topic feelings and opinions. I don't care. I do not care. What I want to see is, can you take a position for or against something, or whether it's good or bad, or ethical or unethical, or democratic or undemocratic, provide me evidence to support that. That's it. So if it's off point, cut it. And some resources. In the first 4 or 5 weeks of a course, at minimum, I will give you line-by-line feedback on your writing. If you need more, or you're confused, or you don't understand points, always come to me. This is my job. This is what I get paid to do. So don't feel like you're imposing on me, or it's going to be a problem or anything like this. I want you to get an A. I want you to be a good, solid writer. I want to work with you till you are. So come to me. Okay. BrainFuse is the new, as of fall 2020, HU portal for HU tutoring and for offline other support. It's 24/7. It's got tons of resources, and everything there applies to what we do in my classes. So totally take advantage of that. It's free. It's built into Canvas. It's there for you. There's also, you cannot go wrong by Googling introductory paragraph or college writing or how to write a paragraph online. Any of the resources you find from a university writing center are going to be great. Walden University, I really like their stuff. They've got a bunch of short videos on paragraphs that are totally on point. There's a link there. But at the end of the day, come to me. I want you to do well. I will work with you to do well. I will do whatever I can to make sure your skills build up to a point where you're getting a grade you want. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, and I will see you in class.